There's a fish in a tank at a restaurant somewhere, swimming in slow circles, and in about an hour, someone is going to point at it, and it's going to end up on a plate. And nobody in that restaurant is going to think twice about it, because it's a fish, and fish don't feel pain. Except, what if they do? The standard argument goes like this. Pain requires a neocortex. That's the outer brain layer responsible for conscious experience. Humans have one. Most mammals have one. Fish don't. So there's no suffering. Case closed. Except in 2003, a researcher named Lynne Sneddon at the University of Liverpool found that fish have nociceptors, the specific nerve endings that fire when you touch a hot stove. More than 50 of them in the face and mouth of rainbow trout, the same type found in humans. So fish have the hardware, but hardware doesn't prove experience. Your smoke test detector responds to heat. That doesn't mean it suffers. So Sneddon went further. She injected diluted acid into the lips of trout and watched. The fish stopped eating. They rocked back and forth on the tank floor. They rubbed their lips against the gravel. Then she gave them morphine. They stopped. They went back to eating. Reflexes don't respond to painkillers. Something else was happening. Here's where it gets complicated. Neurobiologist James Rose published a significant counter-argument. Without a neocortex, there's nobody home to receive the signal. The fish rubbing its lips on gravel is not a creature in agony. It's a biological system executing a damage response protocol. No suffering required, no experience at all. And that argument is not easy to dismiss, because we cannot get inside a fish's head. We cannot ask it anything. But here's the problem with requiring a neocortex. It's a human-centric standard. Fish have highly developed forebrains. They produce endorphins, the body's natural painkillers, in response to injury. Why would a creature that cannot feel pain need a built-in chemical system for suppressing it? Fish also learn to avoid things that have hurt them before, not just in the moment, but in future situations. That is not nothing. This is where the question stops being about fish and starts being about what we mean by pain itself. There are two different things that word describes. Nociception, the physical detection of harm, and the subjective experience of suffering, the part that actually feels bad. You can have the first without the second. The question is whether fish have only the first or both. And we have never had a reliable test for the second one. Not for fish, not for any animal, and technically not even for other humans. In 2021, a review in Animal Cognition concluded something that would have seemed radical 20 years ago. The evidence is sufficient to consider fish sentient. Not that fish feel pain exactly the way you do, but that the probability is high enough that we should treat them as if they might. No single piece is definitive, but together they form a picture that is very difficult to explain if nothing is happening inside a fish. If that's true, then what we're looking at is potentially the largest source of unacknowledged suffering on the planet. Somewhere around 1 trillion fish are caught commercially every year, a number so large it stops meaning anything until it doesn't. There's a fish in a tank at a restaurant, still swimming in slow circles. Now you know what we know, which is almost enough to matter, and not quite enough to be sure.